Hey, what's up friends? This is James Hardy. We're going to get into some power flow yoga today that focuses on strength, balance, flexibility, and of course mindfulness. So just find a comfortable cross-legged position and then we'll get things going. You can find the front edge of your sit bones by just pulling the flesh away or just walking back a little bit. And once you get to the front edge of your sit bones, we can bring the full length of our spine up nice and tall. So take an inhale just to reach your arms out wide, stretch all the way up, and then on your exhale, bring your hands down into your heart center. Close your eyes. Leave your hands at your heart center with your thumbs to your sternum, or just relax your arms down on your legs. And then just join me with a sigh out the mouth all the way down to empty. From the bottom of your breath, breathe into your low belly and your low back. And then hold your breath there. Take air into your mid-abdomen and your mid-back. Hold there. And then fill all the way up into the chest, all the way to the shoulders. Once you have that full breath, just relax. Hold on to it. Release your shoulder heads away from the ears. And then with your exhale, just release slowly for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From the bottom, again, breathe in low belly. And then hold there. Take your air up into your mid-abdomen, your mid-back. Hold there. And now top your breath all the way up into your chest, all the way to your shoulders. Relax and hold on to your full breath. If you want to sip a little more air to top it up, we can do that right here. And then again, that slow exhale, releasing for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take an inhale through your nose like you're sipping the air in through a straw, smoothly from the bottom all the way to the top. And then exhale out your nose as if you're fogging up a mirror. Keep this breath going. You want to create the sound of ocean waves in your head. And we're just using the muscles in the back of the throat to control how we narrowly pull the air in and then how we narrowly release the air out. This breath is called Ujjayi Pranayama. In Sanskrit, this is the breath of victory, and this is what we use for our practice. Allow your breath to be your guide for your practice. It is our link into tapping into the present moment, the present experience. So as we practice deep breathing, we just practice that mindfulness. Eyes blink open to a soft gaze up front, and then on an inhale, stretch and reach your arms out wide and tall. And as you exhale again, bring your hands down to your heart center. Again, inhale, stretch your arms wide, reach tall. Exhale, gather the hands down into your heart center. Take your legs out in front of you, keep that breath going. You can give a little roll out through your ankles or pump through your knees, just bring the blood flow back in. And then we'll leave the right leg extended and grab your left leg and just start to cradle your left leg in towards you. You can do what I'm doing with your elbows and your forearms, or you might just have your arms extended and using your hands. Try to bring some length up into your spine as you're rocking out that hip, rocking out that leg. And then we'll plant the left foot to the outside of your right thigh. Choice to leave your right leg extended or bend your right knee so your heel comes to the outside of your left sit bone. And then we'll start to take a twist opening towards the left, and your right arm will hook to the outside of your left knee. You could also bring your elbow to the outside of the knee, and then your left hand just presses back to the ground behind you. Take an inhale to lengthen your spine up nice and tall, and on your exhale, twist from center and take your gaze back across your left shoulder. Hold your body inside of the twist, and then just use those inhales and those exhales to massage the body out. Inhale creates space, and on your exhale, you allow your body to release deeper into that space. There's also a nice stretch along the outside of your left glute going up onto the outside of your left thigh as you hug that left knee closer over to center inside of the twist. Start to tilt your right ear forward to your right shoulder so you're stretching out the left side of your neck. And then as you're stretching out the left side of your neck, you can explore lifting your chin up in space or letting your chin come down, just finding the front and back edge to the left side of your neck. And then on an inhale, lift your head up nice and tall. And as you exhale, twist from center and take your gaze all the way back across your shoulder. Awesome. Unwind. Just let your legs come out in front of you. Give a little bit of a roll out through your ankles again, a little bit of movement through your legs. And then we'll switch up to the other side. So left leg stays extended in front of you. Grab onto that right leg using your hands or going in closer with your elbows and your forearms. And then just cradle the leg across your chest as you lift up through your spine and stay with your breathing. And then plant right foot outside of left thigh, leaving your knee up in space. Left leg extends or bend the knee so the heel is to the outside of your right sit bone. Start to twist your body a little bit over to the right, either wrapping your left arm outside of right leg or, again, placing the elbow to the outside of the knee. Right hand back behind you. Inhale to lengthen the spine up nice and tall. And on your exhale, twist from center and send the gaze back across your shoulder. Hold your body in the twist and just feel those waves of breath washing over you. Awesome. Left ear can start to tilt forward the left shoulder, this time stretching out the right side of your neck. Again, you could explore lifting your chin up in space, finding the front right edge of the neck, or letting the chin tilt down, finding the back right edge of your neck. Use that breath to release any tension that you experience, that you find in your neck or in your shoulder. And then inhale to reach your head up tall. With your exhale, just twist one more time all the way back across the right shoulder. Get to empty. And then we'll unwind. Take it forward into your tabletop as you unwind. Hands right underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, and begin movement in cat and cow. So cow, dropping the belly, lifting the chest, tilting the tailbone up. And then in cat, letting the weight of the head release forward as your mid-back lifts up high, tailbone drops. You could inhale to one, exhale to the other, or spend a little bit of time in one before you move on to the next. You might also try rocking a little forwards and backwards inside of those shapes, or pressing out to the sides through your hips, through your shoulders. You're letting the breath just lead the way on this movement. Find one or two more rounds of breath. Take a neutral flat back, hands and knees, and to warm up your wrists, turn the insides of your wrists forward in tabletop. Your palms are down and your thumbs point to the side. You could rock side to side, back and forth. You could make circles. You could also lean back and at the same time peel your hands off the mat to your fingertips and then slowly rock forward and then roll the hands, the fingers, the palms all the way back down into the ground. Link your breath up with whatever movement you're taking. And then just give the back of your hands a little bit of a press down to the ground. Note, at this point, I'm kind of almost sitting back into hero's pose, so you don't have to have a ton of pressure going down and in. Awesome, and then come into hero's pose. So tops of the feet to the ground, knees are together, sit bones back to your heels. And just give a nice roll out through your wrists here. Movement through your arms. Awesome, friends. Step back to the top of a plank position. Hips are going to be right on level with the shoulders inside of this plank. And then gaze is down, crown of the head is reaching forward. Micro bend the elbows so they're not locked. Let your biceps tone into center line like you're holding a beach ball between the biceps. You might even rock a little forwards and backwards to feel into everything that's holding you up. Arms, chest, back, core. And then on an exhale, just slowly lower all the way down to the ground. You can also do this on your knees with your ankles crossed. Once you hit the ground, we're going to lift up into locust pose. So your thighs pull up off the ground, feet point backwards. Arms point to the back of the room, elbows are slightly lifting, your palms are facing one another. Shoulder blades are toning in. And then rather than craning your chin forward, let your chin come slightly back in towards your throat and find the length through the back of your neck. And remember, we want the breath to be right there with us. Have those inhales and those exhales front and center. One more inhale, lift up. And on your exhale, lower down. And to get to down dog, you can either move through tabletop or just do a push-up to plank and then shift your hips back in space. Take a moment in this first down dog just to slowly drop the weight into one heel while opposite knee bends. Walking out the dog, just changing up your legs one at a time. Spread out into the circle of your palm into your fingers. Micro bend the elbows, biceps tone to center line like you got that beach ball between them. Weight of the head releases, so the gaze is back in space to the back wall. And as you hold, there's that push and that hug through your arms. And then you're lifting your hips back up tall away from that point. My knees are a little bit bent right here while I'm just lengthening the spine. And then start to draw your heels back down to the ground. They do not need to touch the ground. That is the intention. Beautiful, friends. On an inhale, right leg lifts to the top corner of the back wall, three-legged down dog. Pretend that you're pressing your heel actively up to the wall back behind you, while the front of your right hip bone points down and back. And part of pressing it into the wall behind you is if you could press into something, it would keep you from dropping into your left hip and your left arm as that right leg lifts back and up. It would keep you reaching nice and tall. On an exhale now, bring the foot up in between your hands. We'll create a low lunge position. Line your knee up at 90, right above, 90 degrees, so it's right above your ankle. And then on an inhale, rise up into a high crescent lunge. Awesome, friends. Bring your hands just to your hips, maybe thumbs around, hands just around your waist for a moment. And feel into your legs here. So your thighs squeeze in to help stabilize. You're pushing down into that right foot. You're pulling back through your right glute. And then your back left heel is pulling forward as that left thigh pulls forward. So you're in the ball of the left foot. And then if we're kind of curving through the shoulders, take a moment here just to roll the shoulder heads down away from the ears and the back. And then from there, draw your arms up nice and tall. Pinkies forward, thumbs back, palms face in, fingers lift up. And there's a little bit of a chest opening going on here. Stay with your breath. So one more inhale into that lunge, and then on your exhale, bring your hands down to frame your right foot to a low lunge position. We'll step the left foot up to meet the right, so we're in a forward fold at the top of the mat. Release the weight of the head, your fingers are down to the ground, so you can bend your knees as much as you need to get your fingertips to the ground, lengthen your legs from that point, and then give your head a slow nod yes, and a slow side to side nod no, just releasing the weight of the head down from the spine here. On an inhale, come half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. So bend the knees slightly, press to your shins right below your knees, and then you're bringing the spine forward in space, parallel to the ground. Gaze is down to the ground. Shoulder blades are toning in towards one another. You can think like you've got a pencil between your shoulder blades. You're trying to hold it into place. And then we're finding the chin slightly back in towards the throat here. On your exhale, now refold, and then reverse swan dive, pressing to the ground, inhaling your arms wide and tall. And on your exhale, cactus your arms and take a baby back bend, toning through the core. Inhale, reach back up tall in space. And on your exhale, we'll come down into chair, Utkatasana. And I want you, like we did in locust pose, to start to fly your arms back in this chair today, and at the same time lift your heels off the ground so you're on the balls of your feet. Chest is still lifting up in space. Elbows are slightly bent and reaching back. Shoulder blades are toning slightly in, so we're not collapsing forward through the chest and shoulders. We're still opening up here. And then you can feel it. You're balancing when you're on the balls of the feet. You've got all those little muscles kicking in to hold you up in space. We want to sit into the strength of our legs, so we're not just dropping the weight forward into our knees. And then right heel plants to the ground. Inhale, arms and left knee lift up into a one-legged mountain. Have that left knee bent at 90, lift up nice and tall through your chest. Feel that big right toe rooted to the ground. Start to extend your left leg forward in space as you lift up through your thigh. You want to avoid leaning back here, so feel more pressure into the ball of your right foot, like you're pressing into the wall in front of you. And then on an exhale, friends, swing this all the way back into your low lunge position, both hands framing your right foot, ball of the left foot to the ground behind you. Drop the knife edge of your left foot to the ground. And then we'll rise into warrior two. So left arm reaches back and that right arm extends forward. Like we did in the first lunge, bring your hands to your hips with your thumbs back behind your waist. Guide your right sit bone underneath your body. Elongate the stance as you need to where your front thigh is more parallel to the ground. Knee right over your heel. Spine up nice and tall, and then you're toning through the legs to center, but also pressing down into the individual legs. So down into the knife edge of that left foot, and then down into that right heel, gripping through your right foot. Extend your arms open from there, letting shoulder heads release down away from the ears and the back, and just gazing out across the front fingertips. All about your breathing. Exhale, extended side angle pose. Right forearm to your right thigh, left arm lifts up in space. If your left hip's popping up, drop that left hip down, bring your right knee right over your heel. And then you can stay here, or for a bind today, drop the back of the left hand behind you to the outside of your right thigh, kind of the outside of your right hip. Lower your right elbow on the inside of the right knee, below your right thigh, and then reach your right hand up and back for your left hand. You can pull against your shorts or your shirt, or if your fingers connect, awesome. You could also have a strap in between your hands as well with a couple of inches of space. And then rather than bowing forward like humble warrior through your head and chest, you are still trying to stack your left shoulder over the right and then extend the crown of the head forward. So we're still taking the shape of extended side angle pose while we're in the bind. Last round of breath. Inhale, open star, facing to the left. Open your arms wide, all 10 toes to the side. And then on an exhale, wide-legged squat position. So your heels come in underneath your knees, and now your feet are pointed out at 45. Rather than knees collapsing inwards, we want to feel things rotating up and back, your thighs and your legs. Take your hands to your thighs. Inhale your chest up nice and tall, and on your exhale, twist to the back. So push off your right thigh and open your chest forward. Stacking that right shoulder over your, or left shoulder rather, over your right. Inhale, lift back up to center. And on your exhale, switch your sides out. So push off your left thigh, now twist to the front. Right shoulder pulling back as that left shoulder is dropping down and forward. Inhale up to your star. And on your exhale, return to warrior two, facing to the front of the room. Right palm to the sky, left hand to your hip, thigh, or behind you, and then reversing your warrior. So right arm reaches straight up, so the nice big opening through your right side body, out your fingertips. You can totally bend your elbow if you want. Your gaze might drop a little bit, but you don't need to lean way far backwards or way far forwards. Your spine is pretty much in space. You might be dropping the shoulders, or dropping that left shoulder, lifting the right, and your gaze might come up. Stay right in your lunge, your right knee over your heel, and stay very engaged as we've been doing with the legs while we breathe. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down to frame your right foot. Turn on the ball of the left. Step back to a plank. Exhale, halfway down to Chaturanga Dandasana. You can also skip this and go to down dog. Press to the tops of your feet. Inhale, upward facing dog, or maybe you replace this with a low cobra. Up dog, if you're not familiar, we're on the palms, tops of the feet, suspending the body weight, taking that back bend, and then tuck your toes and draw your hips back up into down dog. Take a couple rounds of breath, orienting in down dog. Again, relaxing head, micro bending elbows, biceps toned in, hips lifting high and drawing down through heels. And then on an inhale, we'll take the left leg back up tall in space, three-legged down dog. Pressing the heel like you can press the wall up back behind you while the front of your left hip bone points down and back. And again, as you're pressing and reaching, it's going to avoid us sinking into the right hip or down into the right arm or shoulder. Keep it nice and strong. Breathe the lift up through the left leg. And on your exhale, step the foot up between your hands. Find that low lunge. Foot right between your hands. On an inhale, come up into your high crescent lunge position. And we guide the hands to the hips to begin with. You can drop a little bit into this so the front thigh is parallel, front knees at 90. Stabilize, thighs tone in, press down through your left heel, grip through your foot, feel your glute pulling up and back. The right heel is drawing forward, you're on the ball of the right foot, spine's up nice and tall, maybe even rolling the shoulder heads down. And then when you're ready, extend your arms into this, up to the sky in this pose. Pinkies forward, thumbs back. And that lifting through your heart. If your shoulder heads are crowding up to your ears as your arms lift, relax your shoulder heads down away from the ears and the back. And working that breathing. Breathe into your high lunge. Exhale, bring your hands down to frame your front left foot, and then step your right foot up to meet your left, so you're in a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale halfway up, lengthen your spine, strengthen around it, and on your exhale, refold with your feet at hip bone distance. Take your peace sign fingers around your big toes, and then you're pressing down into the toes as you release the weight of your head to look behind you. Elbows from that point open wide, and you're pulling against the toes as your toes press towards the ground to pull your spine and your head into this forward fold as your legs lift back up behind you. Alternatively to grabbing your toes, you could wrap your forearms, the bellies of your forearms behind your calves, and then a similar sensation of pulling in. Use that breath. A lot of times when people tell me they can't touch their feet, I see their knees are super locked or stiff. So just add some softness in your knees inside of these poses, and you can build the flexibility up over time. Friends, when you're ready, just release the hands, and then get the breath all the way to empty. Hold navel to spine and reverse swan dive, inhaling arms wide and tall. On your exhale, cactus arms open, baby back bend, strong through the shoulders, toning in, strong through the core. Inhale, reach back up into mountain, gaze is forward. And then on the exhale, we're coming into chair, and we're making it that flying chair. I don't know if I called it that last time, but let's call it that flying chair. So arms are reaching back, heels are off the ground, you're on the balls of your feet. Awesome, your chest is shining forward and your gaze is forward. So if you're starting to dip the gaze down or chest down, use that lift up and use those elbows to pull back and gently tone one another to bring the shoulder blades toned gently behind you to help support the lift of the chest. You guys got it. Okay, and then on this side, we're going to drop the left heel, inhale arms and right knee up one-legged mountain. Again, right knee bent at 90, or I'm kind of already extending my leg a little bit, thigh bone plug back in. Feel that big left toe rooted to the ground, and then the full length of your arms up in space. Beautiful. From here, start to extend your right leg forward like you're pressing it to the wall behind you. And again, we don't want to reach forward and then fall backwards. We want to press down into more of that left foot, especially the ball of the left foot, and then feel like we're pressing that right foot forward as we reach up through our arms. On an exhale, now swim this back to a low lunge position. Both hands are framing the left foot, ball of the right foot to the ground behind us. Drop the knife edge of your right foot to the ground, and then we're rising up into Warrior Two, invitation to bring your hands to your hips as you feel into the stance. First thing, right, is lengthening out as you need to establish that you're inside of a lunge position. If I see people doing Warrior Two like this, we've got to get into it, right? We've got to have the length of the legs. Left sit bone underneath your body. Your heels are in one line from the front of the room to the back. Right toes are pointing out to the side, and then pressing down into both of your legs and to both of your feet as you open the arms up if they're not open yet. And your chest is right up in space from here. Remember, those thighs are always toning in on these poses. They're helping to stabilize us at center. So take one more inhale to your Warrior Two, and then when your exhale comes, hinge forward for extended side angle. Press your left forearm to your left thigh. Again, if your right hip lift it up, bring it down on level with your left, and then extend your right arm straight up in space. For the bind, we'll drop the hand behind us, so the back of your right hand is the outside of your left thigh, outside of your left hip. Drop your left elbow on the inside of your left knee below the thigh, and then reach your left hand back up for your right as you start to gently twist open. So you don't want to tilt down like humble warrior. We're trying to find the shape of extended side angle pose while we're in the bind. I like to take my gaze more where I'm looking over, kind of back into the right a little bit so I can see my right shoulder opening back. Inhale, star, open to the right. With the exhale, come into your wide-legged squat. So line those heels up underneath your knees. Feet are out at 45. We're going to hold this wide-legged squat. Your hands could be to your thighs, heart center, maybe open wide with your shoulder blades toned in. If you want to layer this up, you'll maybe bring the feet in a little closer, and then your heels lift off the mat, so you're on the balls of the feet. We already had experience with what it's like to be on the balls of the feet inside of those flying chairs. So it just adds that extra balance, that extra stability that goes on. Work with your breathing. Remember, thighs are opening up and back here. We want to avoid the sink inwards. Get all the way down to the end of your breath. And then inhale, open back up to star. And as you exhale, warrior two to the front of the room. Reverse warrior with that in-breath. So right hand to your hip thigh or behind you. Left arm lifts straight up as your left thigh is into your lunge. And then you can bend the elbow if you want. Take the hand back. Right shoulder dropping away from your right ear. Take one more inhale, reverse your warrior, and on your exhale, cartwheel your hands down, low lunge position, and then step your left foot back to meet your right. You can go directly to down dog or exhale halfway to chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, up dog or low cobra, and then exhale, down dog. Couple rounds of breath, friends. Find your pose. Watch that you're not sinking into it. Engage. Okay, we're going to go breath to movement on each side, starting with the right. On an inhale, lift your right leg back up tall, three-legged down dog. And as you exhale, step up, low lunge position. Inhale, high crescent lunge, lift up through your arms, engage your legs. And then exhale, low lunge, but step up to the forward fold at the same time. Left foot meets the right. Inhale, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana, strengthen, lengthen. Exhale, refold, and then reverse swan dive. Inhale, arms wide and tall, mountain. And on your exhale, cactus open, baby back bend. Inhale to reach back up to your mountain, gaze forward, and then that flying chair on your exhale. Lift your heels, or in the balls of the feet, arms back. Drop your right heel, inhale, arms and left knee or leg forward for one-legged mountain. And on your exhale, swim back to your low lunge position. Your inhale, friends, is warrior two, left arm back, right arm forward. And as you exhale, extended side angle pose, we're going to skip the bind. Inhale to reach up into your star, you're facing to the left. And as you exhale, wide-legged squats. On your inhale, come back up into your star, open. And as you exhale, return to your warrior two, front of the room. Your inhale reverses the warrior. And on your exhale, we cartwheel down to frame the right foot and take our vinyasa, our flow. So step back to plank. You can skip it, go to down dog, or exhale halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Tuck your toes. Exhale back to down dog. Left side. Inhale, left leg lifts up, three-legged down dog. On your exhale, step up, low lunge position. Inhale, high crescent lunge. And on your exhale, you come to low lunge, but step your right foot up at the same time to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, refold. Reverse swan dive, inhale, arms wide and tall, mountain. Exhale, cactus open, baby back bend. Nice, inhale to reach back up to mountain. And then flying chair on your exhale. Lift the heels, arms back. Drop your left heel, inhale, arms right knee or right leg to one-legged mountain. And then exhale back to a low lunge position. Inhale as warrior two, knife edge of the right foot to the ground, right arm back, left arm forward. And then exhale, extended side angle pose. Again, skipping the bind, inhale to reach up into your star facing to the right. And as you exhale, your wide-legged squat position, hands to heart. Inhale back to your star. And on your exhale, warrior two to the front of the room. With the inhale, reverse your warrior, right hand, hip thigh behind you, left arm up. Exhale down, low lunge. And then our flow, step back, plank. Take it where you want. You could exhale halfway down. Inhale, up dog, and then tuck your toes and come back to down dog. Excellent, friends. Come down to your knees. You can grab a sip of water. We're going to do a little core work on our back in just a moment. Beautiful work. So as you lower down to your back, we're going to do some movement and then some holds and then some movement. So the first movement with your legs straight up in space, we're going to be twisting side to side. So head and shoulders off the ground, arms are forward. And then join me in this, go for it. You're reaching your left arm forward and then your right. Stay with your breath. If your neck needs support, one hand goes back behind the base of the skull. But still keep twisting through those side bodies. Okay, let's hold arms straight up. Again, maybe one or even both hands are back behind, giving some support for the neck. Your low back is to the ground, and then you're lifting your mid back and your shoulders up off the ground with your gaze forward, feeling that flexion in your core. Nice, back into your side to sides with legs straight up. Almost there. And rest. Supta Baddha Konasana can feel fantastic. Bottoms of the feet together, knees wide, legs in a diamond shape. Weight of the head relaxed, and then one hand onto your upper belly and one hand onto your lower belly with the arms relaxed. So you're feeling the rise and fall of your breath. Next, it's going to be in, up, and downs. So with your hands behind the base of your skull and your shoulders off the ground, reverse tabletop. Your knees are bent at 90, bottoms of the feet are pointing forward. We're going to come right back to this, but for now, extend your legs to the diagonal, press your low back to the ground, and then this is the movement. Join me. Inhale, knees in, exhale, legs straight up, and then to that halfway point extended. In, up, and down. Inhale, in. Exhale, straight up and back to that halfway point. Low back is connected to the ground when you're on that halfway point. Work with your breathing. Okay, let's hold at that halfway point. In the Ashtanga tradition, there's this option where you press your palms together, reach up towards your feet. You could grab that one or leave your hands behind your head. And if you're reaching forward with your palms, there's still a little bit of shoulder toning back behind you. Nice, back into the in, up, and downs. You got this, stay with it. Nice. And then take a full morning stretch. Just relax your head and your body. Legs out in front of you, arms back behind you. You can roll out your ankles and your wrists, or just wiggle out your fingers and your toes, or simply just relax your body while you're here. And then from that full morning stretch, happy baby. So peace sign fingers to your big toes. We had this grip earlier in that forward fold. Your knees are out wide. Bottoms of the feet point to the sky with your ankles above your knees. And then you're pulling down on the frame, bringing the low back close into the earth with your head relaxed. And you can do a little side to side rocking to begin with, massaging the hips, low back, and sacrum while you breathe. Okay, but then we're going to start a back and forth rock with a little bit of momentum and pull to catch ourselves up in this bound, wide-legged boat pose. Try that again. And if you fall forward, you're okay. Just tap your heels, lift back up. If you fall back, we've already been doing that. You're in a happy baby. Okay, last one. Catch yourself up in that bound boat pose. One of the things we're working with here is you're pulling against your toes as you lengthen your legs to lift up to your spine. And your legs do not need to be totally straight. They can have some bend into them. That's totally fine. You can work that flexibility over time. Bring your ankles together, let go of your toes, and begin to twist to the left and then to the right, just like you're rowing a boat, rowing a canoe. And then hold normal Navasana boat pose. You can do so with bent knees or lengthened legs, hands behind your legs to help lengthen your spine back and up, or with your arms open. Relax your face and stay with that breathing. Nice. Cross your ankles and take those twists. Almost there. Perfect, friends. We're going to meet in downward facing dog. So just bring yourself forward, and then just from your tabletop, you can go to plank and shift your hips back and up in space. Inhale your right leg up to three-legged down dog. And on your exhale, open the hip and bend the knee to a scorpion tail. Okay, when we were doing three-legged down dog to begin with, we were talking about not sinking into your left hip, left shoulder. That becomes even more important now as your right leg is kind of leaning over to the left as you lift up your right knee in space. Stay here, or if you want to take this into wild thing, pivot with your left hand and you flip the dog. Your right leg is like bridge pose, heel underneath your knee, and then your left leg can be like side plank, where you're on the knife edge of it lengthened. Your gaze can go up to the sky, you're lifting your hips up away from the ground, and then you reach your right arm forward. Other variation would be where your left foot is also underneath your left heel, so it looks more like that bridge. Strong with that left arm below you. Flip back into your three-legged down dog. Inhale your right leg up in space. And on your exhale, just work your foot up between your hands. Find a low lunge position. Okay, for runner's lunge, lizard pose, walk your right foot over to the right side of your mat. Bring both hands onto the inside of your right foot below your shoulders. Left foot can go a little bit back into the left. And then two options, your back knee stays lifted or back knee drops to the ground. Stay on your hands or bring your forearms down to a blanket or forearms down to the block or forearms down to the ground. We're stabilizing the right knee just up above your right heel with your right foot to the ground. You can open the inside of your right foot to face a little forward, pivoting with your right heel, and just pointing the right toes a little bit out to the right just to open the hip up a little bit. Neck muscles can relax in this one. They can take a bit of a break. And then just watch that you're not sinking into your left hip, dropping it down. Stay engaged around the hips. Place them into the pose. Square them to the ground. Square them to the front of the room. Awesome breathing. Okay, friends, so we're going to take this to a forearm plank position. So you could just press back up to your hands, lift your left knee off the ground, step back to plank, and then lower. If you already had your forearms to the ground, you can just step that right foot back and then readjust as you need to. From there, bring your forearms on parallel with one another with the bellies of the forearms to the ground, so we have the shape number 11. Start to walk your toes up towards your elbows. We are in dolphin pose. Lift the hips up and back in space, and then you're using your shoulder strength and core strength to lift your sternum back up towards your thighs. Both feet to the ground or right leg lifts back and up. Push up through that heel. Stay with your breathing. Create length on the underside of your arms all the way up to your side bodies. One more inhale lifts the right leg up. On the exhale, return to full dolphin. Walk back to your forearm plank position. And then for Sphinx pose, comfortably place the hips to the ground. Root into your forearms, lift up through your chest. Awesome. Find the length through the back of your neck a little bit here. And then just breathe into your spine, into your abdominal wall. Weight of your head could even come forward as you create more of a cat shape in your upper back. And then you can release to your belly. We're going to meet back up in down dog. So tuck your toes, either lift to tabletop or plank, and then shift your hips back and up in space. Find down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Okay, left leg lifts up when you're ready, three-legged down dog. And then on your exhale, just open the hip and bend the knee, drape the toes down over to the right as that knee lifts up nice and tall. Again, create that length on the underside of your arms up through your rib cage. If you're taking wild thing, flip the dog. Your right leg is just like side plank on the knife edge, but your left heel is underneath your knee like bridge. Hips lift up, gaze is up, and then that left arm is reaching forward as you're strong through your right. Find your breath. I know sometimes with these more complex or more powerful poses, you get into it and then you forget that we're here to breathe. Whether we're doing this or whether we are doing a child's pose, right? Okay, slowly flip back, three-legged down dog, inhaling left up, and on your exhale, we go to our low lunge position, and then create lizard pose or runner's lunge. So walking your left foot to the left, right foot a little bit back into the right. You can have your right knee lifted or dropped. Keep your hands to the ground or work your forearms to a block, to the floor, or all the way down. You can open your inside of your left foot a little bit forward to the front of the room, just pivoting with that left heel. Oftentimes I'll see people and they've got a really kind of short stance. Their right knee's up a bunch towards their left heel in this instance. And that's why I love the name lizard pose, because you want a long lizard tail back behind you. Send that right leg back a bit in space. And of course, if you're in, more that forearm, if your knee is off the ground and you're on the ball of the right foot, we avoid that. It already sets you up where you need to be. There is a tendency in the case here that you're gonna fall into your right forearm, collapse more into your right hip, lean your right heel more to the right, and we're working against that. So we're centering your right heel behind you. We're bringing that left forearm down to the ground or left hand down to the ground, and then watching we're not sinking the right hip down. So this fun transition into your forearm plank, friends. Again, you can press up to a plank and then just step back, or if your forearms are to the ground, reach your left leg back in space. Create the shape number 11 with your forearms. Bellies of the forearms to the ground, elbows under your shoulders, palms spread out. Start to walk your toes up into dolphin. Lift the hips up, sternum lifts up towards your thighs. Relax your head,
And then left leg goes up if right leg went up last time. Find your breath. One more inhale, lifts it up. On your exhale, lower down, step back to your forearm plank, lower your knees to the ground, and find child's pose. Knees are out wide towards the edges of your mat. Tops of the feet are to the earth. Big toes draw together. Sit bones back to your heels, and then just relax your forehead to the earth with the arms out in front of you or tucked at your sides. And as we go from, that work inside of dolphin, where your heart rate gets up and you even, I'm sweating a little bit here, catching my breath, and you're in child's pose and you're doing that deep ujjayi breathing. It's like you've taken a snow globe and you've shooken it up, and then you're sitting there and you're watching all the snow fall, all that energy moving, and you're using that breath just to stop and take it in, stop and gather yourself. Awesome, friends. Inhale up to your tabletop, and then just drop your hips to the ground, swing your legs forward to the front of the room. We're going to take the rest of the practice on our backs. So if you need to grab a drink of water or anything, this is a great time. And then once you come onto your back, just bring your knees into your chest and give yourself a little rock side to side. Take your right ankle over the top of your left knee, over the top of your left thigh. Flex your right toes back towards your shin. Start to flex your right knee a little bit forwards. Left foot stays rooted, or for this reclined pigeon, we interlace the hands around the left hamstring or around the left shin, and then pull that left knee in towards us. And your right arm is reaching in between the gap in your legs, and the left arm wraps the outside of that left leg. Head relaxes. This is a nice hip opener. Again, that right knee is gently flexing forward, opening the hip. Your right ankle over your left thigh is a fulcrum point. And again, you're leveraging that right knee forward. Maybe even a little side to side rocking. Beautiful breathing. And then send your left leg flat out in front of you. Reach your right leg straight up in space. You can grab your hamstring and just give a roll out through your ankle. Move through your toes, move into the arch of the foot, the top of the foot, edges of the feet. Stretch out your shin and your calf. And then we'll take a couple roundhouse sweeps. So relax your arms, and then you open your right leg out to the right, bring your right foot down towards your left, and then sweep your right leg up to the top corner of the left wall. You roll onto your left hip, and then finally onto your back with the right leg straight up. And then you take that again out to the side, down to your foot, up to the top corner of the left wall, and then back up to the starting point. Maybe just one more time, so 3 in all. And then as you come back up to your starting point, we're just going to take this into a twist. So bring the knee to your chest, right knee to your chest. Left hand then grabs your right knee and pulls down over to the left. You roll onto the outside edge of your left hip, extend your right arm to the right, and take your gaze out across your right fingertips. You could also extend that left leg and your right leg rather over to the left, and your left hand could grab the outside of the foot, ankle, or the outside of the thigh. Let your right shoulder come down towards the ground, whether that's a resting action or a little bit of a pull down. And keep working that breath. Get all the way to the end of your breath and just come onto your back. Again, gather the knees into your chest, wrap your arms around your knees, and just give yourself a little bit of that rock out, massaging hips, low back, and sacrum. Perfect. And then your right foot plants to the ground with your knee up in space. Left ankle over the top of your right knee or thigh. Flex your left toes in towards your shin so your heel is pointing to the right wall. Let your left knee gently flex forward from there. Right foot stays to the earth, or we interlace the hands on the hamstring or on the shin, and then you're pulling that knee in as your left knee is still gently flexing forward and your left foot is engaged. Head is relaxed here. Maybe a little bit of that side to side rocking as you find those inhales and those exhales. Excellent. Just extend your right leg flat to the ground in front of you. Reach your left leg straight up, grab your hamstring, and with your head relaxed, roll out through your ankle. Again, really you're moving into all parts of your feet, ankle, and then feeling it in your shin and your calf as well. And then for those roundhouse sweeps, you can relax your arms, open your leg out to the left, bring your left foot to meet your right, and then sweep your left leg up to the top corner of the right wall, comes back to the starting point, and we take that a couple more times. Once you've got 3 of those completed, just bend the knee up towards your left shoulder, right hand then grabs the outside of the left knee and guides us into this last twist. You're on the outside edge of your right hip, left arm reaches to the left. Take your gaze out across your left fingertips. Think about that left shoulder coming down into the ground if it's not there. Inhales are working their way through the twist, and then exhales are releasing you a little bit deeper into the twist. Bring your knees in, wrap your arms around the shins, give yourself a final little rock out, massaging the hips, low back. And then we'll move into our final resting pose, our corpse posture, Shavasana. Lengthening the legs out in front of you, letting the weight of the feet relax open. Reaching your arms down along your sides, letting the palms turn open to the sky. Closing your eyes and releasing control of the breath, allowing the body to take back over. And we create that physical stillness that then our mind and our emotions get to flow into. Awesome. So just give a little bit of movement to your fingers and your toes, slowly bringing life back in. Stretch and reach your arms all the way back behind you. Reach your toes to the wall in front of you. Roll out your ankles, roll out your wrists. And then turn onto your side into a fetal position, curling up and deepening your breath. And then we'll meet back up where we started our session at, we started our class at, to that cross-legged position. Again, work yourself to the front edge of your sit bones. You can keep your eyes closed during this process. Inhale your shoulder heads high up towards your ears. And on your exhale, just roll your shoulder heads down away from the ears on the back. Bring the knuckles on your thumbs up towards your sternum. Palms together, releasing the weight of the head towards the hands. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether it is clear to you or not, no doubt the universe is unfolding exactly as it should. The light in me greets the light in you. Namaste. Friends, thanks so much for joining me for another awesome practice. If you are not subscribed to me on YouTube, you can subscribe to me on YouTube or follow me on Instagram, Facebook, obviously. And if you are in a position to make a donation, my Venmo ID is in the description of this video, so you can send me any type of donation. And if not, no worries, it is my gift to you. But be well, be safe, and much love. We'll catch you next time.